Hi, thank you for joining me today. I have a lot to talk about, but before I get into that, I want to introduce myself to those who might not have seen me before. My name is Beth. I am a knitter from the Chicago area who works as a paraprofessional, so I have my summers off. So this summer I decided to post weekly about all the things I'm knitting and everything I have going on with the fiber world. So this weekend was super special. I had so much fun. I went to the Frivolous and Frugal and 3-Ply podcast meetup in Hoffman Estates, and it was such a joy. I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to Dawn, Penny, Irene, Angie, and Joyce. All of you did such a tremendous job of making me, as well as all the other knitters, feel welcome at your event. And it's just such a generous thing that you guys do. And I want to say happy birthday to both of your podcasts. It was a wonderful celebration. It was a fantastic time. I met so many new people, and I will be talking about the people I met, mostly the podcasters. I will be listing them at the end when I do my new to me segment. So before I get too deep in it, I want to say today I will be doing a recap of my experience at the mini meetup. I will be talking about what I'm wearing, and I will go into WIPs and then new to me, and that will include all the podcasters at the mini meetup. As far as the meetup, I want to tell you all about it. It was so fun. I spent my time knitting and relaxing with some very friendly, outgoing people who were very welcoming to me, as this was my first knitting event, and people who were getting to know me and had just learned about me as a YouTuber. So it was just such a nice thing. I want to specifically say thank you to Dawn and Penny of the Frivolous and Frugal podcast, as well as Joyce, Irene, and Angie of the 3-Ply podcast, because they did a fantastic job of putting this event together and getting knitters together for a very reasonable price. Free. I mean, unless you had to incur travel expenses, stay at the hotel, whatever. But unbelievable, the generosity of these women for putting this thing together and allowing everyone to just come together and have fun. So on Thursday night, I came in around 8 o'clock because I was told, or informed, I suppose. Nobody actually said it to me. But that was the Campside cast-on party. So I came up on Thursday. I didn't have a room that night because until more recently, I wasn't even aware that they were doing the Thursday night thing. So I came up Thursday night and I sat in the lobby with a whole slew of knitters, and everybody was knitting on different things. A lot of us cast on the things from the Campside line of knits by Alicia Plummer, and I will be showing my cast on in WIPs today. And then I stayed until way later than I normally would stay up because I was just so into the energy of the knitting crowd on the opening night of this event that I didn't feel sleepy. So somebody said something about how late it was at 10:45 that night, and I looked at my watch and I was like, no way. I'm an early riser. I am not a night owl. So I then had to drive the hour back home and then get things together to come back on Friday. So it was a very exciting thing. The energy was high on the very first night. And then on Friday, I'm told that people started coming together at 6 o'clock in the morning to knit, which that's a little too early for me, especially after I didn't even get home until close to midnight. So I had not even packed to get ready for the weekend prior to that because I was so busy the day before getting my weekly video ready to be posted before the weekend. So that's all my fault. So on Friday, I spent a lot of time getting ready, packing up for the weekend, and doing laundry at home and everything like that. So I missed the early events, it's not like they, nobody had a starting gun and said, on your marks, get set, knit. But they were gathered in the conference room when I got there. And so I found a seat at the table with the people that I was knitting with the night before, which was Penny of PJ Knits, which is a podcast that you should watch if you're not watching yet, and her friend Debbie, and they also have a friend named Kendra who was there, and she had brought her son Daniel. I sat with them most of that night. And then we also had what do they call that event? Show it off is what I want to call it. Where you walk out in whatever you have made, and it is up to everyone there whether or not you want to participate. Nobody's, forcing anybody to show anything. Show and tell, that's what they call it. So I went to the show and tell wearing my Sea Haven by Jennifer Shields Tolan. If you want to know more about that, you can see it in episode 8 of mine. And I had so much fun with that event because there were people, some of them had the same projects, and it was almost like a competition, like who has the best Stephen West shawl. So it was a lot of fun. There was a lot of smack talk, and it was a good time. And then at the end of the night, I went back to the table where I was originally and spent a long time working on one of my cardigans that you'll see later, and finished a good portion of it. So I was up late again that night and went to bed, and I still, when you do something that just fills your heart so much, it leaves you with this buzz of energy that I couldn't sleep. I went upstairs to the room and I was still wide awake, and I watched a movie and I didn't fall asleep for a really long time, and then got up in the morning and the next day had breakfast and enjoyed meeting Kelly of Knits and Pieces. That's another New to Me podcast. I keep forgetting. I'm going to mention those all at the end. Anyway, ate breakfast with some fascinating knitters. And then after that, there was a day full of knitting. And some people who are not from the area went to Elgin Knitworks, which is not too far from there. And there was a lot of shopping, and it was great because it was during the Chicago Yarn Crawl. So people ended up going to some other stores in the area too. And then at night, they had both the Frivolous and Frugal and 3-Ply podcast birthday celebrations, because I think Frivolous and Frugal is 4 years old and 3-Ply podcast is 5, or the other way around. I don't remember. I'm so sorry, ladies. But they're 4 and 5. They're close to the same age. So I was very surprised that on both nights they gave special attention to people who are podcasters who showed up to the event. I was not in any way expecting to get any kind of special attention for being somebody who sits in a room and talks to her phone. Like I'm doing right now. And then posts it on YouTube. But they did, and I am so grateful for that, because it makes me feel so much more accepted into the community, because my viewership, my subscribers, everything has grown exponentially since the weekend. And I'm floored by how gracious and welcoming everyone was. And to give the attention to all of us newer podcasters the way that they did is just amazing. And I couldn't be more grateful. I don't even have the words. So again, thank you to Frivolous and Frugal 3-Ply. You're the best. So, on to what I'm wearing. I almost said on to WIPs. On to what I'm wearing. Today, I am wearing a finished object from 2020, maybe 21. I'm not entirely sure. I could look at Ravelry and tell you for sure. Maybe I'll put it down here. Whatever. If I have time, I'll do that. But I'm getting ready to leave tomorrow for a road trip while my son holds the fort down here at the house. Anyhow, what I'm wearing is Droplets Raglan sweater, and it is by Chantal. And this last name, I apologize if I'm slaughtering it, but her last name, Chantal Miyagishima, and also known as Knitatude, which I really like. I think that's the cutest name, Knitatude. My baton twirling team, when I had one, was called Attitude, so Knitatude. Kind of feel like we're soul sisters in a way. Anyway, this is a top-down Raglan sweater that it was my very first Raglan sweater. It was my very first pullover, and it is made in Lion brand Feels Like Butta. No ER at the end, there's an A at the end of that, and it is in the colorway Dusty Blue. And I don't know if they still make this. I don't remember the yarn composition of it. It feels kind of velvety, So it's definitely some kind of acrylic. I don't know that there's any wool in this. There might be some cotton. I don't know. I don't remember. If I find that yarn band, I'll put the information somewhere. Anyway, I'm the fit of this is not my favorite. It's a little short, and the sleeves on this are intended to be 3/4 sleeves, but I prefer the long sleeve. So I did do that on purpose, make the long sleeve. I think this is going back some, but what I remember is that I bought yarn for a smaller size, but then decided that I needed to make a larger size. So I think I had like 2 feet of yarn left when I was finished with this, because I remember with the sleeves, I remember weighing the yarn to make sure that I could do the sleeves as long as I wanted to. So I kind of was, making sure that I could get the long sleeves that I wanted. The funny thing though is I looked at the pattern again. It's a super long sweater in the pattern. So mine is more cropped than I would like. So I don't know how I ended up not having enough yarn to knit it to a length that I would have preferred. I don't know. Maybe I ordered wrong. I don't know. I do know too that here in the armpits, it's much baggier than it needs to be. So there's a lot of yarn in here that could have been used to extend the length. And that is because being a new sweater knitter and not reading ahead in the pattern, I didn't realize that once you get to the sleeve split, you cast on more stitches in order to make the sleeve. So I kept trying it on and like pulling it together in the armpit to make sure that it like actually met in the armpit. And then when I finally decided, okay, the yoke is finished, I had gone well past what the directions said. And and then I like read the next section and it said cast on 8 stitches or something for the sleeves. And I was like, what? I was like, oh my God, I wish I had known that before. Now I know why they say to read the whole pattern. Duh. So this was a learning pattern. I still wear it sometimes, not often, but I like that it has just a little bit of texture. It's got purl stitches every so many stitches, and they get closer together as you go toward the bottom. So it's kind of like rain. It's cute. I like it. But that's me. Anyway. On to whips. My first whip is one that I talked about last week because I swatched for it. It is the Campside Cardi by Alicia Plummer, and I casted this on at the Frivolous and Frugal meetup on Thursday night at their Campside cast-on party. Now, this is as far as I've gotten. I did split for sleeves, so I've got that. I'm excited about that, and I have I tried it on, gave it a little twirl for the camera this morning for you to see, which I think is, it looks like a little shrug almost, but whatever. This is being knit in Direful yarns, and the only place that I have ever heard of Direful yarns being sold is at Elgin Knitworks. I don't know if she sells anywhere else. If you know, can you comment below so I can give her a little more of a shout out? This is in her base Direful DK, and it is in the colorway Stormy Skies. And I love how and we've got potentially stormy skies out there right now. It's looking a little gray, so if my color seems off, that's why. Anyway, lots of blues and greens, a little bit of grays, and oh, it just started raining. Dun dun! I made that happen. That was so weird. Anyway, great yarn. I love this yarn. It feels so good knitting it. I do want to say though, for me, and as far as the pattern is concerned, I had to drop down 2 needle sizes in order to get gauge in stockinette. So just word to the wise in case anybody out there is looking for it. I didn't see other knitters on their project pages saying that they needed to drop down, so it might just be my gauge. But the yarn is a delight to knit with, and you know, I always forget going from fingering to DK weight how much faster it goes, and I love that feeling. So I expect to have a lot of this done by the time I post next time, because I'm going to be spending a lot of time in the car driving. So actually passenger seat. I'm not driving and knitting. Don't worry. Sometimes I say the stupidest things. Anyway, I think I've said everything I need to say about that whip. It was Campside Cardi by Alicia Plummer. Next whip comes from Rowan magazine number 71, and it is called Free by VB Ulrik. And this is the one I had so much progress on. So last week when I showed it, I had a little bit of the back done, and now I bound off the stitches for the back. So we have a whole back on this thing. So I'm loving it. I'm so excited about it. Yay, yay, yay. So I have the right side complete. I have the back complete. And now I am on to the left side. Now, when I was working on this last night, I have one more decrease to go before I start doing the short rows for the top. And okay, so here's how the two sides line up. So one more decrease is like 4 more rows. And here's how the other 2 sides line up. So I'm thinking the left side looks shorter than the right side. And I don't know if I don't know if I need to look again and see if I need to change something or if I should just finish it up and reassess from there. Because I know that with the short rows, I will come back all the way across the garment again, or across the side. And hopefully it ends up measuring up the way I expect it to. So that's just, it was late last night when I finished knitting on this, and I thought, I'm putting it aside for now. I'm not gonna think about it too much. I'm too tired. So I was hoping to have this side done so that I could start on sleeves tomorrow in the car on my road trip. We'll see. We'll see. The yarn for this is the yarn that's called for in the pattern, which is Rowan Cotton Cashmere in the Colorway Seed. Different color than they do in the pattern on there, but same yarn. On to my last WIP, and it is somewhere in this room, I think. Oh, here it is. All right, I have so much stuff on the table because I have so much swag from this weekend, and I'm so excited to show it all to you. But anyway, this is Nomad Tea by Rachel Illsley of Unwind Knitwear. I finished all the color work in the center. So exciting. I just love this. Just seeing it on screen every time melts my heart. And in case, for those of you who haven't been here before, it is a sideways knit tee. So I started from this sleeve, had to cast on kind of like a toe up kind of cast on from this side, and then went across, and I have just started on the short rows. It's too curled up to really show that, but the short rows for the back. So in order to create the neckline, there are short rows next to the color work, and soon it will be wearable. No promises. This is fingering weight, so I get frustrated with how long it takes to make progress on it. So I intend to complete it while there is still time to wear it in warm weather here in the Chicago suburbs. So that's as far as I'm gonna take it. And mind you, we do have times where it warms up to maybe 70 degrees in October. So that's as far as my promises go. Next, new to me. This is gonna be a long one, so fasten your seatbelts. Here we go. I'm gonna start with what I spent money on, because that's how this weekend went. There was a lot of swag, so I want to be able to thank the people who were kind enough to donate all that they did. But first, I spent money. I went to Elgin Knitworks, and this also came with some gift. In the drawing that they had on Saturday night, I was given a $20 gift certificate to Elgin Knitworks. So on Sunday, on my way home, I went and spent that $20, and I got myself some Rowan Kidsilk Haze This is a mohair, I think it's mohair silk. And I don't know the colorway. It does not say on here. Like, there's this tag here that gives you some numbers that I don't know if that's like a colorway or a dye lot or what. But it's green and it's pretty and I love it. So I got 4 balls of this intended to hold together with this. Now, I showed this last week, or did I? Did I? I don't know if I showed this last week. I don't think I did. I didn't. Okay. Barnyard Knits. This is called A Walk in the Woods, and it was the July colorway. If you're not familiar with Barnyard Knits, you need to become familiar with them because they have the most amazing colors. I follow them on Instagram and they put out a monthly colorway that they sell for $20 a skein. So great bargain. This is A Walk in the Woods. That was their July colorway. And what they do is they put it on pre-order for the month and then they ship it out at the end of the month. So as soon as I saw this colorway, I thought, I need a sweater's quantity. So I have 6 skeins of this, and just look at that loveliness. I mean, this is it personifies a walk in the woods. I just feel like I am in the woods when I look at this. They did such a fantastic job with this colorway. Anyway, so my thought is holding this double with this for the Ingrid sweater. And because this colorway is so unique, I'm deciding, do I want to do that? Do I want to cover it up with mohair? And one thing I was thinking as a possibility is that this alone, the Barnyard Knits, this is DK, by the way, 100% merino, superwash. And if I did this for the neckband without the mohair, that might be a good option. Neckband, wristband, and waist. So all of the hems of the garment. So something I'm considering. If you have any experience with this, please comment below. Let me know what you think. I mean, I could do a whole sweater with just this colorway, and maybe it would be something like a Carbeth or a Weekender or something that's more of a plain pattern that doesn't have a whole lot of interest and texture to it, so that I can just showcase the yarn itself as opposed to the texture. It's a thought. I don't know. Opinions below. Next thing I want to show. Onto the swag. All right. This adorable drawstring bag was what we got when we walked in the door. So as soon as we walked in and gave our information, we got that swag bag. Came with this thing, which I believe is a grip for like putting on your needle tips on an interchangeable needle set. So either that or it's a coaster. but I think it seems to be more useful for a knitter. Well, I suppose knitters can use coasters too, right? Whatever. I could use it for both, right? Okay, this is a cute little needle minder that also came in the packet. And for those of you who don't know what a needle minder is, it is for when you use DPNs, double pointed needles. When you're done using, when you're done knitting, you stick the needles inside, and then your sock or mitt or whatever you are working on sticks out of there, and you snap it together so that things don't fall off of your needles. Great, great tool. Thanks to Nicci of the Frivolous and Frugal podcast, Golf Supplies. This is a tee. I don't know what this is. At first I thought it was a button, and I thought, oh, that'd be cute on something, but I don't know what you do with that. But there were suggestions given. I don't remember exactly what they suggested. But yes. Anyway, there's this cute little plastic case with a sticker on it from the Meetup. And there are cards with coupon codes inside for all participants. A little bit of eucalyptus, some locking stitch markers, and my favorite thing that came in there was this little, I forget what you call these. It's got this lobster claw thing on it, so that you can like mark where you are in your pattern. And I will probably take a picture of that because it's very hard to see on screen. So it's got both the Frivolous and Frugal logo as well as the 3-Ply Podcast logo on. So Frivolous and Frugal, 3-Ply Podcast. And I think I'm holding them backwards. I don't know. I'll take a picture. Another thing I got was this cute little jar. I have never seen such a tiny jar before, with locking stitch markers. And this actually, they were giving these away to different people throughout the room. It was just kind of a like here, here, here. And the people who got these, their task was to go to someone that they hadn't met before and give it to them and introduce themselves. So I was so taken aback in the moment when I had gotten this that I don't even remember the name of the person who gave it to me. I can see her face, and she was very sweet, and thank you. If you're watching, thank you for this. And thank you for introducing yourself. Please, if you are watching, comment below so I can give you a shout out. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm one of those people who, like, when something takes me by surprise or catches me off guard, I am dumbfounded. Like, I'm speechless. I don't know what to say. I don't know how to conduct myself. I freeze up and don't know what to do. So I think I was sort of in that moment then. So again, I apologize. Some of the generous donations from Firefly Fibers. This was something, and I got a cute little button with it too. This was something that was a gift for, now different people got different things, but they celebrated the podcasters who participated in this event. And like I said, I never ever expected to be given any special treatment for being a podcaster at this event, but they gave me this. And this is Julie Aslin. It is DK weight yarn. Let me look at what it is. I love these colors. It's a 90-10 superwash silk blend. Superwash merino silk blend. So I love these colors. I have no idea what it wants to be, but someday soon, I would like it to be something. I have to think about this. It's going to take some time, but thank you, Frivolous and Frugal and 3-Ply Podcast for this wonderful gift. Very generous. And last but not least, of the new to me items is a bag. And I want to shout out Queen Sandy. She made a whole lot of bags for this event, for giveaways, and I got a special one. It has embroidered on it, Meetup 2022. What a great souvenir. This bag is so amazing. I mean, look at all of this. I love the detail here. So cute, so pretty. Beautiful picture. These great handles. This is sweater size. Like I could fit almost 2 sweaters in this thing. Huge. Love the detail inside. There is a pocket that, you know, I can put stuff in here, and then plus a separate zippered pocket. This has its own inside. So just amazing. Thank you, Queen Sandy. Thank you for your donation to the meetup, as well as thank you for the giveaways. These were drawings. This was a door prize. And I think everybody there got something. Everybody got some kind of door prize, and it was as good as that, if not better. I mean, just amazing door prizes. And that's all of the stuff that's new to me, but I want to talk about some of the people who I learned about, who are online people such as myself. So there were 5 other podcasters at the mini meetup, in addition to myself, as well as Frivolous and Frugal and 3-Ply Podcast. So I believe I already mentioned Penny of PJ Knits. She and I got to sit together and knit for quite some time, and I really liked sitting with her. She was very kind, very sweet. We talked about the things that we were knitting together and a little bit about our families and everything like that. And she was very welcoming to me. One of the first people who kind of pulled me in. James of Dude Knits was there. He has a great podcast. I have watched his podcast. He is I would call James in person the life of the party. He was just so much fun. He was very entertaining. He was a big part of at the show and tell portion, part of the competition with the Stephen West shawls. So it was really nice. And that started Thursday night. It was a lot of fun. Kelly and Noelle of Knits and Pieces were there, and I sat with Kelly at breakfast one day and kind of got to know her a little bit too. We had some great conversation, and Noelle, I would say she was queen of wardrobe change. Every time I saw her, she was wearing something different. She wore different things for show and tell. Her morning wear was different from her afternoon, from her evening. And I love it. I wish I had that many knits to wear. I am jealous of you, Noelle. I need to get to that point. I want to be as prolific as you are. So Knits and Pieces, that was their podcast. Nicci of Got WIPs was also there. Nicci is from Wisconsin, and she and her co-podcaster Heather do a Zoom type thing similar to Frivolous and Frugal, because I think Heather lives out west somewhere. I could be wrong about that. I'm sorry. But Nicci was great. She gave me some advice on where to buy needles online. She said to get them from Etsy, from somebody named Handsome something. I'll put it below. Anyway, she said that if you buy, this was new information to me. Everybody should know this. If you buy Xiaogu needles on Amazon, they don't always have the lifetime guarantee. So you need to go through somebody who can give you that, which is this guy, Handsome something, on Etsy. So great advice. Thanks, Nicci. Now, everybody, go subscribe to Got WIPs. And the other podcaster who was there was Joanne of Magpies Cottage. Joanne I had heard of previously because Dawn sometimes talks about her, because I believe Dawn teaches classes at Magpies Cottage, or I may be mistaken about that. I don't know anything. I just know she's talked about Joanne before, so I've watched Joanne's podcast before, and she podcasts with someone else named Amy, and the two of them together have a great back and forth in their podcast. So sometimes I wish I did have a partner here, because I feel like it would be that much easier, because I'd be just sitting here having a conversation with the person next to me as opposed to talking to my phone, which always seems like I'm performing. It's funny. My son came in here as I was recording my intro, and I had to stop and start over and over again today, because I just couldn't get things to line up the way that I wanted them to. And I said to him, I'm trying to say blah, 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 blah. And it just rolled off my tongue like nothing. And I'm like, see, I can do it when I'm just talking to someone. But when I'm talking to my phone, it's just not the same. I need someone to chit chat with. And I want to say a special shout out to Chris and Terry, who I met. They have a local group that knits together right here in the area where I live. And so I just happened to bump into them and sit down at their table and found out that they are more local to me than anybody else there. And so I went to my very first in-person weekly knit group, and I'm so excited to be part of it. So thank you, ladies, for being so generous and inviting me to your knit group. And I'm so excited that, and I would say that's probably the one thing I wanted most from this weekend, was to find people that I could regularly meet with in person and knit. So yay, I have that now. Oh, my heart is so full. I have such gratitude to so many people for all of the welcoming vibes and everything that I did this weekend. And I'm speechless. So I have said everything I need to say for this week. I will be on the road for the next few days, and next week's episode most likely will be late. So I think this episode is probably long enough that you have enough content from me that you will be feeling fulfilled. And I will see you next week after my road trip. So until then, keep knitting. See ya.